There were many victims of the outbreak, but he was not one of them. He was a victim of human nature. Perhaps I should start from the beginning. I mean, the beginning is a good place to start. Technically, I think you always start from the beginning, because you're starting, and the beginning is by its very nature the point at which you start. So maybe I have to start at the beginning. But even if I didn't, I would anyway. No one knew how the outbreak started, and we never really got time to find out. The government spent so much time and money on public announcements, spin, and political conferences that there was nothing left over for scientific research. The outbreak spread across the country, and people began dropping like flies. The flies began dropping too, but they're flies, no one gives a shit about them anyway. Come to think of it, it's strange the outbreak affected only humans and flies and nothing else. I suppose if we'd done some research, we may have found out why, but then again, I'm no politician. I don't know what kind of expenditure that would require. Probably a lot. Anyway, everywhere got it, even Cornwall, but they claimed that their outbreak had a different origin and that they should be considered, for all intents and purposes, a separate contamination zone to the rest of England. It spread to Scotland and Wales too. Fortunately for them, however, the Scottish Parliament had a load of extra money which they used to quarantine themselves from England, so by and large they were okay. Sheep were immune to the outbreak, so Wales only suffered a minor population drop. So now, here I am. To my knowledge, the final survivor, burying the last of my friends. For a while, it was alright. There was a group of us, the immune. But the outbreak wasn't all we had to fear. There was one amongst us who was a little unbalanced. There was a serial killer in our group too. That sort of sucked. Soon there was just me and Johnny. We were both getting quite paranoid. Johnny was convinced that I was the killer, and I was convinced that Johnny dyed his hair.
Anything you owe that to me. After all our time together.
Stay back, you psychopath. I've told you a million times already. Went on holiday recently and it sort of bleached in the sun.
Bleached in the sun? The tips are darker than the roots. Explain that to me, Johnny. Explain it. You're a liar, Johnny. A liar.
It turns out Johnny did dye his hair. Oh, and also, he was a serial killer or something. He had a bloody knife and a lock of hair from each of his victims, so he was probably taking samples from when he next dyed his hair.